Hello and welcome to our lesson on electrolysis. So this will be going over two lessons. Today is our first lesson. So I want you to write down the title, the date and the LO, and then I want you to try the starter task, please. So pause the video here and I'll continue in 5 seconds. Okay, number one, what is the electron configuration of sulfur? So first of all, we need to look for the atomic number, which is 16. And then we draw the shells. So remember, the inside shell has 2 electrons maximum, and the next one has 8 electrons maximum, and then for the third shell we've already got 10 electrons, so we're left with 6 in the third shell. Obviously I haven't drawn it very well, it's a bit squished because there wasn't much space, but this is just to show you what it looks like, but it should be drawn better if you've got more room. Number two, how would you separate two liquids with different boiling points? You would use the method called distillation, where you heat up the mixture and then one of the liquids evaporates at a certain temperature and goes up through a Liebig condenser, which cools it back down, and the substance that was evaporated condenses and goes into a separate beaker. Number three, how many neutrons does silicon have? So if we look at silicon on the periodic table, it will look like this. So the atomic mass is 28, the atomic number is 14, and to get the number of neutrons, you do the atomic mass, take away the atomic number. So we are left with 14. So the answer is 14 neutrons. So give yourself a mark out of 3, please, and correct anything that you got wrong. Smelting. So some copper ores are copper rich. They have a high concentration of copper compounds. Smelting is the process of applying heat to an ore to extract the metal. The copper is reduced in a furnace. So we did this while we were at school still. Remember, we had the copper oxide in the bottle cap and we heated it up loads, and some of you managed to get copper, some of you didn't. We didn't have much time. But smelting is the process of heating up copper loads until it is molten, so it is liquid. And this is the reaction. So we've got a copper ore here plus oxygen, so you burn it with oxygen, and then we get copper and sulfur dioxide. Now, can you think of any problems with this reaction? Just have a little think and I'll give you the answer in 3 seconds. Okay, the problem is that sulfur dioxide is a pollutant and it can cause acid rain. You might remember that from geography lessons if you got onto that topic yet. But if you release too much sulfur dioxide into the atmosphere, then it will produce acid rain. So extracting copper, step 1 was smelting, so it has to be molten. Step 2 is electrolysis. So in this process, electricity is passed through solutions containing copper compounds, such as copper sulfate. During electrolysis, positively charged copper ions move to the negative electrode and deposited as copper metal. So we've learnt before that metal produces positive ions. We have a battery here and we have a circuit. So these are the wires and electricity travels through this solution. So that is completing the circuit there. We don't need wires in the solution. We have an anode and a cathode. The cathode is negative and the anode is positive. So we know that opposites attract, negative and positive go towards each other. So when the positive copper ions are produced, they are going to go to the negative electrode. Okay, so we are running electricity through the solution and the copper attaches itself to the negative electrode, which is called a cathode. So I want you to draw this picture here and make notes, please. So we've learnt this before, but it is just to jog your memory. Metals produce positive ions. We know metals produce positive ions. These ions are called cations. So if it's a positive ion, it's called a cation. Now you can remember this as everyone is positive about cats. Everyone loves cats. Actually, I don't, but just for the sake of you guys remembering this, then let's say that I love cats. I'm very positive about cats. Therefore, cations are positive. So, questions. I want you to pause the video and I want you to try and answer these questions, and then I will reveal the answers in 5 seconds. Answers. Are metal ions positive or negative? They are positive. They are called cations. Number 2, which electrode do metal ions travel to in electrolysis? They travel to the cathode, which is the negative electrode. Number 3, what is the problem with electrolysis? It requires a lot of electricity, so it's expensive and not very environmentally friendly. Number 4, what do we need to trap the sulfur dioxide? Why do we need to trap the sulfur dioxide produced during smelting? So in the atmosphere, it will form acid rain. Number 5, how can we use scrap iron to get copper? Why does this work? So this is linking back to the reactivity series. Iron is more reactive, so it displaces copper, and there's an example underneath. You didn't need to write an example, but it's just there for you to look at. So give yourself a mark out of 5, please, and correct anything that you got wrong. We're going to go over oxidation again just a little bit because we did this a while ago. So when magnesium reacts with oxygen in the air, this happens. So you've got magnesium plus oxygen goes to magnesium oxide. It's easy to see that the magnesium has gained oxygen and an oxidation reaction has occurred. So the magnesium has been oxidized because it's gained oxygen. Reduction is the opposite of oxidation, so it's the loss of oxygen. When lead is extracted from lead oxide, carbon is used to remove the oxygen. So we've got lead oxide plus carbon goes to lead plus carbon dioxide. So you can see that the oxygen has come away from the lead and is instead attached to the carbon. The oxygen has been removed from the lead oxide has been reduced. So oxidation is a gain of oxygen, reduction is loss of oxygen. Now, usually I would do a demo for you guys, but obviously we're not in school. I have attached a YouTube link here. Obviously, if you're watching this on YouTube, then you won't be able to click that link. But if you go on to show my homework and you open up the PowerPoint that I've attached, you will be able to click the link. If you don't have access to the PowerPoint, then you can just type in electrolysis demo on YouTube and there's a lot of them. Okay, so that is the end of today's lesson. I hope you have a wonderful day.